Travel the world for free and get paid? Sounds like a dream, right? But the reality is far from what you think. Imagine this. It's 4:30 in the morning, your phone rings, and within an hour, you have to be ready for takeoff. Welcome to the life of a flight attendant. While most people are still asleep, the day has already begun for a cabin crew member. The phone call is a reserve shift. That means you're on standby, and sometimes you have only 1 hour to be at the airport. You put on your uniform with tired eyes, hair and makeup must be perfectly in line with regulations. Even your nail color is specified. At the airport, the crew gathers for a briefing. The captain shares information about the route and weather conditions. The purser assigns duties for the flight. Meanwhile, your responsibility is to check every oxygen bottle, fire extinguisher, emergency exit, and first aid kit. Because this job is much more than serving food, it's about keeping hundreds of passengers safe, public perception versus reality. Most passengers associate flight attendants solely with food and drink service. Yet in truth, 70% of the job is safety and only 30% service. From takeoff to landing, every possible risk must be considered. Turbulence, medical emergencies, even a fire on board. Flight attendants are trained for all of these, and the interest in this job is astonishing. When Delta Airlines opened 5,000 positions in 2023, they received 65,000 applications. Emirates announced that in a single year, they had 3.7 million applications. Why? Because the dream of making the sky your office still captivates millions. Entry into the profession and requirements. Despite the huge demand, getting accepted is no easy task. For such a highly sought-after role, what are the requirements? Naturally, candidates must meet certain criteria. Each airline has its own standards. At Emirates and Qatar Airways, applicants must be able to reach 212 centimeters with their arm. Many European carriers forbid visible tattoos. Turkish Airlines carefully assesses height-to-weight ratios. Some airlines require not just proficiency in English, but also a second language. In Europe, swimming 25 to 50 meters is almost standard. Candidates who meet these conditions move on to the next stage, an intensive training program. First aid, firefighting, emergency evacuation drills, psychology, customer relations, even diction and body language. Those who fail to pass cannot set foot on an aircraft. How many people work in the skies? The exact global number of flight attendants is not known, but in the United States alone, more than 130,000 flight attendants were employed in 2023. Emirates has over 20,000 active crew members. Boeing predicts that by 2043, nearly 1 million new flight attendants will be needed. So at any given moment, hundreds of thousands of people are working in the skies. A flight attendant's day is not limited to waking up at dawn. Let's take a look behind the scenes of a typical day. First comes the briefing and checks. Every piece of emergency equipment is inspected, catering trolleys are organized, and the cabin is secured. Then boarding begins. Passengers are greeted with a smile, helped with luggage, and safety checks are carefully performed. Before takeoff, the safety demonstration is carried out. Seat belts, oxygen masks, life vests. Perhaps repeated hundreds of times, but each time absolutely vital. During the flight, meals and drinks are served, special needs passengers assisted, and every request answered. But things don't always go as planned. Turbulence, medical emergencies, unruly passengers. Listen to the story of Vanessa, a flight attendant.
2 years ago, over the Atlantic, we suddenly hit severe turbulence. The plane shook so violently the trolley almost toppled. Passengers panicked. A child was crying. Another hadn't fastened their seatbelt. I rushed to secure the cabin while calmly announcing instructions to reassure everyone. Inside, I was terrified. That moment made me realize flight attendants aren't just about smiling faces. They save lives by staying calm under pressure.
Sometimes a gentle smile is enough. Other times, serious intervention is needed. As landing approaches, the cabin is secured, reports are completed, and you step into a new city. So what are the challenges of this profession? Jet lag and disruption of your biological clock are major problems. One day you're in Tokyo, the next in New York. Your body forgets what time zone it's in. An irregular personal life is inevitable. Holidays, New Year's, even birthdays are often spent on duty. The physical load is heavy too, standing for long hours, pushing heavy trolleys, coping with turbulence. And of course, psychological stress, unruly passengers, sudden medical issues, and sometimes security risks. Yet the job has its advantages. Clear procedures give confidence in knowing what to do. Team spirit is very strong. With standby and discounted tickets, you can travel the world. In Middle Eastern Airlines, company housing makes life much easier. While working, you see the world, stay in prestigious hotels. One day you're drinking coffee at the Eiffel Tower, the next you're trying street food in Bangkok. On board, you might meet a celebrity or land in a country you never thought you'd visit. Here's a funny story from Mert, a flight attendant.
Last year, on a Los Angeles-Istanbul flight, I accidentally spilled coffee on a world-famous pop star. Turbulence hit, my hand shook, and bam! Their brand new white t-shirt was covered in coffee. Everyone froze, but the star laughed and said, "I guess this shirt is now a signed souvenir." The whole cabin burst into laughter. That moment showed me how unpredictable this job really is.
Guess who the singer was? Leave your guesses in the comments. Of course, not every moment is fun. Sleep patterns are disrupted. Fatigue becomes chronic. Salaries also vary dramatically across countries. International regulations grant crew mandatory rest after flights, and sometimes even a 1-minute delay can disrupt schedules for days. Salaries of flight attendants. As for pay, in the United States, flight attendants earn an average of $67,000 annually. This ranges from as low as $34,000 to more than $138,000. In the UK, a new cabin crew member at British Airways earns £21,000 to £25,000 annually. With allowances for long-haul flights, the figure rises. At Lufthansa, the latest collective agreement increased salaries by 16.5%. At Middle Eastern carriers such as Emirates and Qatar Airways, pay is tax-free and includes free housing, transportation, and allowances, and there are interesting differences. Delta became the first major U.S. airline to pay 50% of normal flight pay during boarding time, starting in 2022. Some airlines also offer part-time work models. In fact, there are flight attendants who work just a few trips to fund vacations, then continue their holidays. In the U.S., some join airlines just to obtain work permits, later switching to other jobs, like waiting tables. Perhaps being a waiter in America is even more fun or more profitable than traveling the world. But that's a story for another video. Flight attending. Tough, demanding, sometimes stressful. But it's also a chance to see the world, experience different cultures, and collect memories you'll never forget. They are not just servers in the sky. They are the silent guardians above the clouds. If these stories impressed you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. And tell us in the comments, what other stories about the silent heroes of the skies would you like to hear? See you in the next video.